Did you ever work with a mental coach, Gordon? You
No.
seem pretty mentally fucking strong.
No, I believe that confidence is built in the gym
Through training, yeah,
from
agree.
doing, like, if you hit an armbar 10 times out of 10 times in training, you're pretty confident that it's going to work. But if you
Correct.
don't hit it in training, why would you be confident?
Do you have moments in your past where you had a lapse of concentration and then you realized never do that again?
Yes, like I'm pretty good at like analyzing mistakes, and then like fixing them. Like coming up, I would be like super hot and cold. Like I would beat a lot of guys, and then I'd have like one like disastrous match at like purple belt or something or brown belt, and then I was like, and everyone was always like, "You're Tom," or friends were like, "How will you beat everyone up in the gym, but you can't translate it to the mat?" And I was like, I don't know, man. I feel like eventually I'm gonna get like good, and then I'll be good everywhere, and no one will be able to beat me in any position. And then kind of just like going through the reps in the gym, and got to a point where I was beating everyone from every position. So
just you accelerated your skill set so far beyond that you just were so confident that you didn't need to.
Yeah, but I mean there definitely is like the it factor that you can't really like put your finger on. Like most guys, even at the highest levels, like if you give them the reason to quit, they'll quit. So like you can be as technically sound as you want. Like even guys who are like super good technically, and you see a lot of jiu-jitsu who are super good technically, if they just get pushed hard and they don't have like success early on, they either like crush a guy in like the first 5 minutes or they lose the match.
Well, that's
shut
why you
down.
like those no time limit fights, right? Like the Felipe fight.
Yeah, well, I think I'm a lot stronger mentally than everyone I compete against, but also there's a big physical factor because of the fact that when you have like a 30-minute match, for example, the most important thing is the work rate. So it doesn't matter how good your cardio is, like how high your VO2 max is. If you're working twice as hard as I am, you're going to get tired faster than I am. It's just so. Because I'm so much more technical, because the gap in skill is so big between me and the next best guy, their work rate is always 3, 4, 5 times as high as mine.
They have to explode. They have
yeah.
to move quickly.
So
they
it doesn't
have to
matter how
turn.
good your cardio is. Like if I ran a mile, it wouldn't be impressive. But because I'm so much more efficient, the work rate is so much higher for my opponents that they just fatigue a lot faster.
Gangster.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy too that you lay out the blueprint of what to do. Train 365 days a year, constantly study, constantly go over positions, constantly drill things, constantly improve upon techniques, and then you put the techniques out.
Yeah.
And you put them out in instructionals, and people still can't.
Well, that's what everyone always talks
a
about.
lot.
Everybody always talks about hard work, but the hardest work is mental work. Like there's a reason why guys on Wall Street make more money than guys who dig ditches, because they work harder. Like it's not just physical. Like everyone has no problem coming in, getting a sweat, going home, being sore, stuff like that. But if you ask them to sit down and watch an hour's worth of instruction every night from a Gordon Ryan instructional, which is proven to work in competition, nobody wants to do
You
that.
can't do it. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Like you can give them the tools, but they won't build the house.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Like all of my, I have like 40 instructionals, like hundreds of hours worth of instructionals that I do. And I've referenced matches that I hit this exact technique in competition at world level, and just no one's picked up on it.
No one at all.
They kind of just like grab stuff, like they see me do like a move, and they kind of just like get the basics of it. But no one's really like in depth studied it and like been able to perform the moves in competition. It's like embarrassing for the sport.
That's so crazy. It's so interesting that the thing that you would need is just a work ethic.
Like everyone's just like, oh, he's just like a big juice head. And I'm just like, okay, guys, this makes my job easier. I'm glad that we all are agreeing on this because it just makes my job so much easier.
But the stuff he's talking about, it also isn't exciting,
Right.
Like you gotta be super disciplined.
Yeah. That's the thing.
But like what wins wars is technology and information. Like usually a country with more technology, more access to technology and information is going to be able to win a war.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing for fighting. Like if you know more, most of the time you're going to be able to win more. Like if I'm beating these guys because I know more than they do. Everybody's tough. Everybody's strong. Everybody like it's there's guys, or even the best guys in the world are super inconsistent. Like they'll win 2, they'll lose 1, they'll win 4, they'll lose 2. But when you know more than everyone in every given position, it's like pretty easy.
What's going on? You were telling me your stomach's getting better now.
I can eat a little bit more. Like I'm eating like better meals, but training hard is still tough. Like whenever my heart rate gets super high, and I start to get like tired from like a hard session, I still get super nauseous. So
I can't believe no one has found a solution to that.
That's wild.
Have you run your blood work through Chat GPT, or you done any of that, or the symptoms?
GPT thing, I got to do that. You talked to me about that the other day.
Yeah.
But doctors know more about space, or we know more about space than we do the stomach. And my issue is in the small intestine, which is like the hardest one to treat because like they can look at your stomach with an endoscopy and they can look at your large intestine with a colonoscopy. But to like figure out what the fuck's going on in your small intestine is like a completely, like they can't scope it, so it's hard.
It's crazy that it all comes from antibiotics.
Oh yeah. Antibiotics fucked my life up way more than anything else I've ever done to myself. For
That's
sure. Like,
so
like
crazy.
by far, yeah.
But you're not supposed to do them the way you did them, right? You're not supposed to take antibiotics for a year.
Well, so it was like, if you get staph and you don't treat it,
You
it just
die.
spreads and you die.
Yeah.
So it was like I got caught in this like cycle where it was like I got staph, I took antibiotics, and then I'd be good for 2 days. Got staph, took antibiotics, got staph, took antibiotics, got staph. So it was just like I'd have like 3 days of training, and then I would just get staph again because once my stomach started to get affected and my immune system wasn't as strong, my body was trying to fix my stomach, and then I would get staph because my immune system wasn't as strong. So then I'd take antibiotics, and then that would destroy my stomach, make my immune system weaker, and then I'd get staph again. So I just got caught in this cycle, and I'm sitting there like, I'm not a pussy. I'm not going to stop training. So it was just me training the whole time, regardless of what was going on. Like I would not train when I had the staph, but I wasn't going to like take time off and like try to deal with my stomach. I was just like, fucking gotta compete next month.
Damn. Mental toughness can sometimes fuck you up.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about trying like a long fast?
I mean, I've been forced into like 2-week fasts, like
a long time.
like
2 weeks?
yeah, like pretty much like not eating hardly anything. I was actually, before I fought Roberto Jimenez, that one time I called the armbar, I was in the hospital like 2 days before that getting IVs because I just hadn't eaten in like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Whoa.
Just like couldn't eat anything.
That's crazy. So obviously then that's not going to cure it.
No. And the problem is like everything is trial and error. So it's like, oh, try this for 8 weeks. Fucking 8 weeks is a long time. And you can try, and you can't like do everything at one time because then you don't know, like you said, like I just threw everything at it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's actually making me feel good.
Yeah.
Because so it's like you have to add one thing and take away one thing at a time.
What about your diet? Has anything helped in that regard?
I couldn't even eat red meat for a long time. Like everyone was suggesting carnivore, but my stomach just wouldn't digest it. Like
Really?
fast food screws me up. Steaks sometimes still mess me up. Spicy food I can't do. Like light chicken and rice, eggs.
God, what
So
a
very
disaster,
bland.
bro.
Crazy.
What a fucking disaster.
Crazy that you're still able to operate at such a high level with such a giant fucking problem that would really end most people's careers.
It is what it is. Everybody's got their issues.
I know, but I just can't imagine
yours
that with
is-
all the resources of the world that someone hasn't reached out
Just
that has
a
a
bellyache.
solution. Yeah.
It's a tummy ache, man.
You know what I mean? Isn't it kind of crazy that you think that there's not one guy out there in Australia or some shit
Figured it out.
that's figured it out?
Well, I
It's
mean,
had the same issues.
Yeah.
well, I mean, there was the first time I came on this show, a ton of people reached out. I finally found that guy who, like, first of all, when you go to a normal GI doctor, like the guy in California did tests that none of the other GI doctors even know exist. And I'm like, I don't know how that's like, if you ask me a question in jiu-jitsu, it's like XYZ. Whereas, like, you go to one doctor and he has no idea what the other tests were that I got ran on me by another doctor, which is just so insane. So there's one guy actually ran tests and he was like, oh, all these things are wrong with you. And now it's a question of how can we treat them. But, like, most of the doctors I went to, like all the best doctors in the U.S., just did, like, an endoscopy, like some basic blood work, and they're like, oh, you're fine. I'm like, I'm definitely not fine.
So this other doctor that said, this is what's wrong with you, this is how what was his solution?
Well, it's just a bunch of things. Like, I mean, I could sit here and list for 5 minutes of things that are wrong with me, but it was like, you know, we're going to do a lot of holistic stuff, like over-the-counter stuff, like binders to like deal with like mold poisoning, toxic issues. and then a lot of like probiotics, prescription antifungals, like just a combination of stuff, like Glutashield, like you just drink it and it like coats the lining of your esophagus and your stomach. Because my big issue is with the small intestine, where the food and bile back up into the stomach and it just sits there because the small intestines are so
And that's what makes
infected.
you nauseous.
Yeah, so it's like you eat food, you get full fast, and the food just sits in your stomach and just like rots in your stomach and doesn't filter down.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Damn.
Yeah, it's great.
Fun
cool.
times.
It's basically like being seasick 24/7.
And what is your thoughts on competing again?
Well, right now we're just trying to open up this school. So I've been trying to open up this damn school for like 2 years up in North Austin. So we're like right at the tail end of getting that open. So once we get that open and up and running, then I'll jump back in if I'm healthy.
And there's nothing you can do differently than what you're doing now.
I mean, I do follow-ups with the guy. Like, so for example, it keeps evolving. So like they got the fungal issue they think under control, but because the fungal issue in the small intestines now is resolved, or mostly resolved, they think, the lining of the intestines is so inflamed, like a scar basically, that you have mast cells underneath your intestinal wall. So they're like garbage bags. So when food or stomach acid leaks through the intestinal wall and hits the mast cells, they shoot histamines back up to try to prevent it from leaking into your bloodstream. So every time I eat food, I just get like this, like adrenal response, because they just shoot histamines back up into my intestine, from under my intestinal walls back into my intestines, and it just sends my body into like a state of shock. So like when it was really bad, I would like every time I eat a meal, my heart rate would go up to like 150, and just sit there for like 30 minutes, and then like your heart rate goes up, and your digestive system just stops. So it was like, it would just send my body into like a full panic attack every time I ate a meal. And I'm like, oh, this is sick. And now it's gotten like a little bit better because it's starting to heal a little bit, but it's still not 100%. So it's like one problem just like evolved into another problem. And then like because the leaky gut was so bad, like my kidneys were shutting down because I couldn't filter out all the, like that's when I like took a leave of absence or retired, whatever you want to call it, after I fought Wagner the one time when we first met. Like it was, my leaky gut was so bad, my kidneys started to shut down.
Jesus.
And then, my blood pressure's high.
Have they ever tried oral BPC 157?
I've been on that for like 3 years, yeah.
Yeah. Is that have any effect?
Combination of, like, it definitely helps.
You gotta
like
try the Schaub method. Whatever
Yeah.
they tell you the dose
Toss the
is.
sink at it.
Just do, yeah.
I
Three-
feel
whole
good.
bottle.
3 times as much.
Yeah, dude.
Let's see what happens with a
I'm
whole
just
bottle.
hoping Elon makes us cyborgs.
Yeah,
Get me in the stomach, I'll be ready to go.
My flight's at 7:30, Joe.
All right, dog. Let's wrap this up. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Love you
Fun
guys.
times.
See you guys.
Love you too. See